Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar about our Erasmus projects. My name is Paul Alford. I work for Inclusion Ireland. I will be the MC today, and I'm working for Inclusion Ireland for the last 19 years, and I do all the easy to read stuff, proofread it, and make sure that it's right for the people with intellectual disabilities to understand. And then I go around giving talks around Europe and then around Ireland and different organisations. Today we would like to tell you about the project that we have been working on with partners from around Europe. We want to look at ways to help people make good, easy to read information. Let me tell you a bit about why easy to read is important to me first. I first learned about easy to read when I was working with Inclusion Europe. As soon as I saw it, I knew that it was important to bring it back to Ireland to support people with intellectual disabilities. I knew that it could help them to have a voice and have better access to any information that they need. It is important for me and others to understand. If someone can't understand a word, you have to change it for another one. Easy to read helps me to understand the text or what people are talking about. It's important to match the text with the picture. You get the support to know what is going on. It helps us to understand our rights, like independent living, like college or employment. Easy to read helps me to make my choices and get my voice heard. I go to the doctor myself and make the appointment myself and ask him to give me information and talk to me in an easy way. Easy to read is important for me when I go to the bank so I can have access to my money as I want to. I would like to hand over to my colleague Guillaume now. He has been presenting Inclusion Ireland in the project, and we will tell you more about it. So I'll pass you over to Guillaume now, please.
Thank you very much, Paul, and welcome everyone. That's great to see such great attendance to hear more about our Erasmus Plus projects and easy to read and marginally how to make information available in an easier way for everyone. So to tell you about this project a bit. So it's a 2 years project that started in 2022. It will finish this year in May. So it is what we call an Erasmus Plus project. So it means that we got funding from the European Union program called Erasmus Plus, and this program is supporting projects on education, training, youth, and sports in Europe. So in this project, we worked with other countries like Austria, Italy, France. So we worked with organizations like ourselves, advocacy organizations, but we also worked with universities and linguistic departments in universities, which was a very interesting aspect of this project. I'll tell you more about. Um, what we wanted to do is we wanted to create common rules for easy language. So our partner, our Austrian partner, Atempo, who was also the coordinator of this project, developed what they call the guideline with a set of around 100 rules on how to translate information in 3 different levels of language. And we wanted to try it out in Italian, French, and English language. So what is the project? So as I said, we worked with other countries, and we wanted to use this German model for our languages. But we also created trainings on easy to read language and accessibility in general, because we want more people to be experts and knowledgeable on easy languages. So I told you a little bit about these 3 levels, but let's dive into it. So these 3 levels are based on the European framework for languages. So A2 is usually what we use for easy to read contents that we produce, but plain language is B1, which is a little bit more complex, and A1 would be at a more basic level with shorter sentences and more pictures. So how did we test these guidelines, which was the first part of this project? So we had 3 groups to try different. We chose 5 different texts to be translated in the 3 levels, and we recruited 3 different groups of 5 people each to test the text, sorry, in A1, A2, and B1 level. So for instance, for B1 level, we recruited a group from the Trinity Center for people with intellectual disabilities to help us with the B1 text, so the plain language. For A2, we had people to help us with the easy to read texts that we had. And for A1, so the simpler version, we recruited other people from our partners. So in all these groups, there was people with different levels of reading skills. So it was really interesting to see how we could lead the sessions for each of this group. So based on this, we had the 5 texts reviewed and translated in A1, A2, and B1 levels, and feedback about how we made this proofreading and how the session went. So this is to give you an overview of how it looks like at the end. So the A1 is like the easiest level. So as you can see, like the sentences are really reduced to the very core, to the very central meaning of things. The A2 is the usual easy to read with a couple of pictures, always pictures on the left, and short sentences. And the B1 is a reduced amount of pictures for longer sentences. Here's another example of the exact same thing one of the texts was about the podcasts that we produced during this project. So A1 is on the right and B1 is on the left. So you can see a little bit more about the differences across the levels. So during these proofreading sessions that we organized with each group, so each person took a turn to read sections of the text, and we all talked about it. We said when it was too difficult or when we thought that the pictures should be different. And I think we can fairly say that we had a good amount of fun on the testing session, because in the five texts that we had, as you could see in the previous slides, some were on the podcast of the project. There was also some text on the UNCRPD, but there was also some great book that, as a French person, I would recommend, called The Little Prince. And so there was different type of text to see how this curricula, how these guidelines could be adapted in different contexts, not just for text on rights, but also for fictions. So that was the first part of the project. Then after, we created what we call the training models. So the training models is a set of 5 models that we developed to train a professional who are going to work on easy to read. So what we would call easy to read translators. So people who are going to translate text, but also people who are going to organize proofreading sessions with people with intellectual disabilities to review text. So let's see what we did with that. So the model number 1 was really about how to use pictures with easy to read. So for each of the models we have, as you can see on the left, there's some instruction sheets. So to tell you a little bit more about the model, how long does it take, the level of complexity, the target group, the goals, what we want to achieve in the model. And then on the right, every time there's the tool itself that we provide with the model. So here, for instance, it was a PowerPoint presentation on how to use pictures with easy to read and easy languages. So that's the first model. The second model was about how to make accessible PDF and how to make sure that the different pictures or the different logo in PDF can be read and ensure that it's fully accessible for everyone. So that was an important model. So there's a set of videos in this one as a tool together with the instruction sheet. The model 3 was to train people to facilitate testing groups. So here, what we produced in this model was role-playing cards. So with a group of people, people take different roles. So they can be tester, they can be a support person, they can be a facilitator, and play different roles so people can face in reality the challenges that can occur when you organize a proofreading session. So it can be, for instance, that a support person is a little bit too intrusive and is going to read the text for the person or whisper while the person should show that they can understand the text. Or can be, some people who are going to speak too much or not enough, or, just to be able to face different type of challenges during the testing groups. So this one is really practical with role-playing games. The model 4 is to make information accessible through audio and video. So what we did here is that we put together a set of videos. So if you look at the 4 kind of screenshots, top left is basically you have no audio, no subtitles. So you just basically have only one person speaking, and you can't really get what the person is saying. Top right is you still have no sound, but you have subtitles. Bottom left, you have the sound, but you don't have the subtitles, and the audio quality is pretty poor. And bottom right is basically the person speaking with the audio and the subtitles. So what we want to show people is the different level of accessibility. If you don't have the subtitle, or if the quality is not here, like it's really hard to make the video accessible. So it's kind of an initiation on how to make video accessible to make sure that people can understand it. As more and more, it's not just about easy to read, it's also about making videos for people who cannot read. And the last model, it was a set of videos prepared by easy-to-read experts from our partner Tempo in Austria about the experience and about how they proofread easy-to-read, and about the many years of experience. So just so people have a better idea on how to work with self-advocates on easy to read. So that was a set of models for easy to read translators and professionals on easy to read. We also developed what we call an instructional course for co-trainers. So when I talk about co-trainers here, it's people with an intellectual disability, people who are using easy to read, who wants to become professional on easy to read, who wants to proofread, and also to take part in the training of the training we talked about previously. So the idea is really at the end for the first model to have a trainer and a co-trainer to train people who are going to become easy to read translators. So the instructional course or curriculum is the base to make a course on easy to read for people who want to become co-trainer. So really the goal is, after following this course, participants will be able to teach professionals who are going to teach easy to read translators. So what is in this model? So there's an introduction to explain to you more about the course and how to do it. So there's 4 models or parts to work on different aspects. So the first one here is to work on the personal skills. It's basically no one is born a co-trainer. No one is prepared for that. So basically here it is really about developing the listening, understanding, empathy, different set of skills required to be a co-trainer for people. There's another model on developing speaking skills. So this we really hope will help people to find their speaking skills, their own speaking style, on how to train other people. And it's also about how to work with the other trainer during this training, how to answer questions, how to make a presentation. So that's what this model is about. Digital skills was something very important. Obviously, especially more since COVID, we move more and more um, towards digital use. So organizing proofreading sessions online, and then online training, online interactions. We were talking about accessible PDF before. So there's a lot of digital things. So this model is the base to develop the digital knowledge and skills of future co-trainers. And finally, there was also very important a model on easy to read knowledge, the different things to know about easy to read, how to produce and how to train other people about it. So what was good in these projects? So it was really good to get to learn from other partners, to go to Austria, Italy, France, and to welcome all the partners in our office in Dublin to learn from um, what they are doing there, and obviously enjoy the city there. I think what was really interesting about this project is that we realized how different are the standards we use in different countries. For instance, in Ireland, we use pictures, as I use here with Paul in this presentation. We use pictures of real people, so photos, but other countries will use pictograms, as you can see here in the Facilalier, which is the French version of Easy to Read. Other partners do not use pictures nor pictograms with the text. It's just text. So there was different ways of doing easy language in A1, A2, B1. So that was very interesting thing to see. I think we're all very passionate about making information accessible, and it was really good to exchange with organizations, but also universities, also to make the ways we are doing Easy to Read more professional, because Easy to Read has been around for like around 20 years. Like the standards developed by Inclusion Europe were developed 20 years ago, so it is still pretty young, um, um, pretty young, uh, pretty young matter. So we still have things to do to standardize it more and to make it look even better and harmonize it throughout the countries. So what you will get out of this? So there will be a PDF document of the English versions of the guidelines I told you. So the German guidelines have been translated into different languages. And while we can't make accessible the whole set of rules because we need more trial on this, we need to test it more. There's a compressed versions of the guidelines with the main rules that we translated. So this will be accessible for you on how to make information accessible in A1, A2, and B1. You'll have access to the 5 training models to train easy to read translators and professionals. And you'll have access to a PDF document with 4 models for the instructional course for easy to read users and people with intellectual disabilities. We also produce a set of podcasts to talk about easy language throughout different countries. So Italy, France, Austria, and Ireland. So you can check it out. And just to finish this presentation, I produced a video. I made a video with some of the people we worked on in the testing group. So just wanted them to tell you a little bit about their experience. Hope you enjoyed.
Understand the text.
Easy to read helps me to read the information correctly, so I'm not reading information that's small that I can't understand.
Get confidence to read.
It's important to me because it helped me to understand more that in the documents. Like some other words could be complicated, like some of them could be very long, and sometimes like if it's too long it can shorten it down to like get straight to the point in what you have to know about.
Education and for like meetings and events and that, so I know what I'm doing at the event as well as meetings.
Education or cost of living.
It will be hard to make a decision without the information accessible to you. If you're making a decision about college and you don't like have accessible information, you wouldn't know if it be suitable for you or not suitable for you.
Read about different stories and different like characters, like for example the fox and the little boy that wanted to find peace in his life. It was really interesting to learn about the UNCPRD as well, and easy to read information.
I help proofreading to help others.
We also did the UNC on human rights, and we did a project on broadcasting.
It was really good to work with Una and Jamie on that, and Keon as well, because it was really good to do a project together and helping each other out in the project.
Love sharing proofreading with others. I like to do more. I like the proofread text proof on UN Convention.
So we learned that we're not the only one who try to get easy to read all over the world. I learned a lot. Like, it was really enjoyable, and people should sign up to the project so they can learn to be open-minded, because some people still not open-minded yet.
I hope to do more of these projects with Kiana and Una and Jamie. Spread more awareness about proofreading and easy to read documents like stories or books or comics or anything like that.
I think we need more people who can able to read.
Chief, it will go over to the world and get what easy to read it about more, and hope it get to like the level that it need to be at. People in all countries should have access to easy to read if they need it.
So thank you very much for your attention. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop sharing the presentation and go through the questions that have been asked with Paul, and then we'll just finish the presentation after. So I can see the first question is, where can we access the training mentioned? So there is a section on our websites on this Erasmus Plus projects where we will add in the coming week the resources I mentioned, the PDF documents and training modules. So there will be accessible to all. And if you want, at the end of this webinar, there will be a short survey on Zoom where you can leave your email address, and you'll be informed as soon as these resources will be added. Does Inclusion Ireland plan to offer co-trainers education to those of us who would like to build on our existing skills and knowledge of creating easy-to-read publications? Absolutely, that is something that we did with some organizations, and there's work at the moment. On developing training of organizations. Paul, with Angela, you've been training an organization called Walk. Do you want to say a few words about the training you provided to students on easy to read?
Yeah, myself and then Angela went out to walk, and then we done easy to read, and we showed people, what it was, and then how important easy to read is, for people with intellectual disabilities and for other people to understand. Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm. Did you get some good feedback out of it?
Yeah, we did. We got a bit of feedback from them, and then they were interested in the easy to read stuff. Yeah, we done with them.
And would you like to do it again?
Yeah, I would like more training on it, how to facilitate the workshop, and then to let them know what easy to read is. That's why the picture has to match the text, and the text has to match the picture. And then if there's any words in there you can't understand, they have to change them for easier words, and then it has to match the picture as well. It's important it matches the picture.
Mhm. Absolutely, and that's really an important thing. And I think the first tool, the module 1 on how to use pictures with Easy to Read
Yeah.
is really good with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
but the
Paul.
other thing, Ian,
Yeah,
the other thing, it's important to put pictures, yeah, with anything you do, yeah, for disability people. That's why if you don't put pictures with them, it's hard to understand, yeah, what the writing is and then what they're talking about.
yeah, and thanks for this reminder. And that's very important in how we do anyway here at
Yeah,
Inclusion
that's right.
Ireland's Easy to Read.
And
Yeah.
present it, yeah, to people as well. It's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for this, Paul. I'm just going through the other questions. So the slides and the recording will be available afterwards on this section on our website I mentioned. Is there a library of suitable images to use for different topic of words? Yes. So what we use is a website called Photo Symbols. They have a huge database, so it's based in England. So obviously for some pictures it is kind of more English, and certain things would need to be adapted to the Irish context. But they have a lot of different pictures about different topics like health, employment, education, decision making. So we use this. So that's a good one. Um, do
And
colors?
independent living as well. You
Yeah.
forgot there.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to. Very important, Paul. You're right. About many housing, many different topics. Yeah. Um, do colors matter? Do colors matter in a document? So, yes, it can matter. So, for instance, if you're producing a video, and that, for instance, the color of the title are very bright, and the whole video is bright, so meaning that the contrast is not good, people will struggle to read subtitles. Same thing in the documents. You want to make sure that people can read clearly the written information. The other thing about the colors is that it can help people to better understand the pictures, and you'll see that in the module 1 on pictures. So, for instance, when you talk about something hot, hot water in a picture, and you'll see that in the module 1. If you use red, people associate red with what is hot. And cold with what is blue. Or if you want to do traffic lights, colors matter as well. So not all of the time, but when it comes to contrasts and how to make the understanding even easier, yes, it can matter. So you'll see that in the different models. Yeah, thank you very much for the very nice comments about this project. And we'll, as I said, after this webinar, there'll be a survey, so you can leave your contacts and get in touch with us if you want to, take part in any trainings, or if you have any easy to read need or documents. Like, we're more than happy to have a chat with you about this. Okay, so for research studies, people told us that they would prefer to hear about it through video adverts. We prepared both easy to read as well as paper and video adverts. What is the best practice at European level? So, yeah, for research studies, precisely for this, I for research studies particularly, I would need to ask my colleague Angela. I wouldn't know about it. But in terms of best practice at European level, what I can say is that I think that there's a lot of very good English providers who are like photo symbols who were really good at, you know, making it look even more professional, using pictures, developing trainings. So I think that's, you know, Ireland, England is really good. Obviously, Austria, like an Atempo, would be a very strong company working on many texts and videos in easy languages. So they really, you know, professionalized the whole discipline with their guidelines and how to translate in A1, A2, B1. So, you know, sometimes it's hard to think with our Irish standards what is the best practice, because the standards are different across the countries, as we've seen. So it's hard to talk about the best practice. How can you approach people to let me know that there is any problem in, okay, without, okay, yes, exactly. That can be, mhm. How can you approach people to let them know that there are problems in understanding without letting them feel they're not able? Yeah, that is something that can be hard, because sometimes people do not necessarily understand, but there's this acquiescence that they're going to say yes, because they don't want to disappoint you, or so what's it really depends on who you have as a group in front of you. I think it's really trying to create a culture where it is okay to say that I don't understand something. And you know, Paul, like I think you have loads of experience of easy to read. Like when you don't understand something, how do you go about it?
You go and tell the person that's running the group, yeah, that you can't understand it, and then they have to change it, yeah, for something else.
Mhm. And do you have an advice for this lady who's asking these questions, that you know, sometimes when you're a trainer, you can see that some people do not understand, but you want to help them, but you don't want them to feel bad about the fact that they don't understand. So do you have any advice for this lady? How to make people feel comfortable in saying that they don't understand?
Yeah, but if they don't understand, yeah, you ask them, what do they not understand? And then would they like it, yeah, on audio, or would they like it on video
Mhm.
as well? And then you just give them their advice, yeah, they're asking about how
Yeah.
to do it, and then what you know yourself, really. That so you don't know everything about easy to read. There's some things you don't know yourself.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
so we're not all perfect at the end of the day.
Paul, that is what you're saying is so true. Like, you know, as I said before, it's a pretty young discipline. Like, easy to read, it hasn't existed for like 50 or 60 years. It's less than 20
Yeah,
years. And we still figure this out. And also, it is not rocket science. People have loads of different levels of reading. Some people cannot read. So you constantly have to adapt to the people you have in front of you. So I guess all the strategies we have to adapt them to people we have in front of us. We have in front of us.
yeah, that's
Um,
right. That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, but the other thing that it wouldn't have happened in Ireland. Yeah, really. Yeah, for only I was over in Inclusion Europe in Brussels, and then I heard the easy to read, and we were the first ones in Inclusion Ireland. Yeah, we were the first ones to do the easy to read in Ireland, and then everyone followed our footsteps after that. It was important to bring it back to the groups and to the organisation. I thought, yeah, for disability people, the way they're treated, and then they're not half the time listened to and taken on board what they want.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's a really important thing. And Paul, like, you know, as the pioneer of easy to reads in Ireland, I think that's maybe do you want to share a little bit with the attendees what do you think about the evolution of Easy to Read in Ireland since you first brought it back to Ireland? And now, what do you think about the evolution? Do you feel there's more Easy to Reads used by the government, by organizations? What do
Yeah,
you
there
think?
is. Yeah, there is. Yeah, more organisations. Yeah, taking up the easy to read stuff since we brought it back, and then say that it's a good thing to do. Yeah, and then it helps people with intellectual disabilities to understand what you're talking about and what the pictures are about as well. And then some of them might not be able to speak, so you have to put them on audio or on videos, yeah, for people that are impaired. And before meetings, you have to send out the videos and the yeah, and then you have to let them know, yeah, what's happening in the meeting, so they can play it and understand when they come to the meeting.
Yeah.
And then it's important to proofread these things before the meeting. Yeah, like the minutes and then what's happening at the meeting and what we're going to talk about. And send them out, yeah, about 2 weeks, yeah, beforehand, so people can understand what the meeting is about, and put the times on it and where it's going to be, and then what time the meeting's finished. Yeah, to let the people know, so they can let their organisation know, yeah, how long the meeting's going on for and what time they're getting back.
Yeah. And Paul, I think what you're saying is so important, because we tend to think that's easy to read or easy language is just for text, but absolutely not. Like, it's also for events, for meetings,
Yeah, that's
for
right.
everything that enable people to participate. If your meetings and events are not accessible, then you're going to exclude all these people who just want to participate. So that's a very important thing, not
Yeah,
just
but
for text, but for everything.
it is important to get your voice heard. Yeah,
Yeah.
really. It's our voices, our choices at the end of the day. Nothing about us without us. And then it's important. Yeah, when you're having an AGM or anything, and then get a disability person up there to tell their stories, and then it's important to let them know, how your life is, and then how it's run, and then where you work, or else if you're not working, if you go to college, or if you're in institutions, how they're run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Absolutely.
people in these institutions think that they can run people's lives. Yeah, but they shouldn't be running their lives. They should let them get their voices heard, and then tell them what they want. It's not what they want to do with you. Yeah, but if I give
Absolutely.
you,
Yeah. And and
um,
and and the best way, Paul, you can do that is by having accessible information and easy to read.
yeah,
And that's
that's
very
right.
important.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's
Paul,
more
I'm
support.
just going to
And
keep going through the questions, because we still have 3 or 4 questions, and it's nearly 50. So just to be able to finish, I have a question of a lady asking, if it's possible to share a list of resources for Easy to Read. Yes, and it will be in the section as well. It will be on the section on the projects. Yeah, Nala has very good information on plain English writing. They have some documents, and that they've been doing some really good job on that. And it's interesting to hear different images are being used in different countries. I'd like to hear more about that. And if related research is available, I agree. It's very important that pictures and text match. Yeah, absolutely. We agree with that.
yeah,
Yes, there's not a lot of research, but once again, I'll have to revert to Angela for this inquiry, and don't hesitate to send us an email directly about this. But there was 2 or 3, like very, very little research has been done, and working with universities, they weren't aware of that much research done on the topic. I think once again, it's a proof that it's really something it's really something in its infancy, like, less than 20 years. And I think that it was really done on a charity base, like, with NGO and charities and organizations. So there wasn't necessarily all the academic interest I think it would have deserved, but it is changing at the moment. And projects like this one with universities really enables to bridge the gap between charities who are doing loads of companies doing loads of great initiatives on Easy to Read and research world, academy and university. Paul, just do you want to say one last word before we go back to the presentation and we close the webinar?
I say that everyone should follow our footsteps here from Inclusion Ireland, and then let disabled people have their voices heard. That's why there's not many people out there with disabilities that have their voices heard, and then that the organisations have to let them go to meetings and then speak out for themselves. But they might need a bit of support, yeah, but their supporter could help them, yeah, to get their voices heard at the end of the day. That's why it's very important they come to the meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Paul. And that's a great reminder that it's not just accessibility for the sake of it. If there's no accessibility, there's no participation possible.
No.
Exactly.
And then you need about 4 to 5 people at the beginning to set up a group. At the end of the day, you need that many people, and then people with disabilities will follow your footsteps and join.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Then we want more people, to be members of Inclusion Ireland, and then join Inclusion Ireland and get their voices heard. At the end of the day, that's why it's very important. And then to join, it's only €1 a year, for disabled people, and then for like support people and families, it's a tenner a year, for your membership. And
that's a very good reminder, Paul, because I didn't put it in the slide. So that's a very good reminder to talk about membership. Yeah. Thank you for doing this. I just shared the slides. I'm just aware it's nearly 12. So do you want to go through the slides?
Yeah, I will. Thank you, Guillaume, for your presentation. It was great to hear about this project. I want to say a couple of things about how I took part in this project. I have been working with Angela. We organised 2 trainings. People were trained, were happy, but the training, they found it useful. I think it was great to be a court trainer and teach people how to run meetings in an easy way and tell them about Easy to Read. It is important for people with intellectual disabilities to get their voices heard. Most of the time we are left out and forgotten about. I also met with all the people from this project. We, excuse me, we talked about the project and Easy to Read across Europe and everywhere else. I shared with them my story and how I do Easy to Read in Ireland. I would like to thank you for coming to the event and taking part in the webinar. I hope you got something out of the webinar. I would like to thank Guillaume and Angela for their help in this webinar here today. And then safe home, everyone. And then I hope you got something out of today's webinar. And then bring it back to your organisations. It's very important to let them know what happened with this webinar today and what we talked about, myself and Kim.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, and thank you everyone as well. And if you can just take 1 or 2 minutes to fill the survey at the end of this event, just give a bit of feedback about this webinar, and if you want to engage with us on Easy to Read, which mean the world to us. And yeah, thank you very much for attending today. Hope you found it useful, and thanks, Paul.
And then thanks everyone, and then thanks to Inclusion Ireland as well, yeah, for their help, yeah, with this webinar as well.
Safe home, everyone. Have a good day.
Yeah, safe home, everyone, and have a good day. Enjoy the good weather.